belched contentedly and said, "Might I inquire? That jerky you've been chewing on, could I just try a bit? I fancy I'm a connoisseur with tongue and palate fit to ferret out the kind of beast, perhaps the cut of meat, from whence you sliced that bloody strap and held it to the heat." The packer passed a little piece to test the boastful claim. The hunter sniffed the charred remains, bit in, and then proclaimed, "I taste a hint of kidney fat, the tang of creosote, a wistful note of pine tree sap lays pungent in my throat. What's this, a waft of ungulate? The glue of hoof and horn, an eohippus redolence, the musk of unicorn? Peculiar though I must admit, I can't tell heads nor tails. I'm left with just the essence of burnt hair and roofing nails. I pride myself on this small skill, but if you could be swayed, pray tell me from what animal is this here jerky made?" The packer picked his grimy teeth, his filthy knife the tool. "It all began," he spit and said, "with one old stubborn mule named Demon, and the name sure fit. Worst mule I've ever seen. Last hunt, when we were coming out, he really got down mean. We had to cross a narrow trail above a closed-down mine, and the Demon went to pulling back. I'd hitched him last in line. He balked, then had a mental lapse, forgot that he was tied, and then just like a fumbled punt, he cartwheeled down the side. I quit my horse and bared my knife and dove between the mules. I slashed the halter shank between the mule train and the fools. Down we went, an avalanche of elk and mule and man. The antlers racked the Coleman stove. I kissed the frying pan. The propane tank was hissing. The elk meat held on tight. I hit the shale below the mine. The mule dropped out of sight. Above my head a blinding flash exploded in my eyes, and when the dust had settled, the mule had vaporized. I peeked down in the mine shaft through the timbers and the smoke and saw old Demon at long last had shed his final yoke. He never knew what hit him, so at least it wasn't cruel. Gosh, the hunter shook his head. "I'm sorry about your mule, but back to this here jerky. Do you share your recipes?" "Well, there wasn't nothing to it. I just picked it off the tree."
This is Baxter Black, brought to you by B&W Turnover Bowl.
It's time for the KCAA Community Calendar, brought to you exclusively by Learn for Life, a growing network of public charter schools. The clear mission of Learn for Life is to motivate and mentor students who have dropped out of school and provide them with the personalized education and technical training necessary to advance their lives.
Here's a look at the KCAA Community Calendar. I'm Di Rice. The 4th annual Eat and Be Well serves up free, fun food and much-needed health services to Inland Empire's underserved populations. The annual Project Boone event draws hundreds of people together for a fun-filled day of feasting, music, and dancing. The 4th annual Eat and Be Well happens November 25th, the day before Thanksgiving, at Seville Park in Fontana, beginning at 10 a.m. The goal of Eat and Be Well is to serve over 1,500 attendees, and Eat and Be Well relies on donations to cover the cost of food items. Eat and Be Well also serves up long-term health and wellness by partnering with other nonprofits that have programs to help the underserved population. You can contribute or sign up to volunteer at Eat and Be Well's website, or you can drop off canned food like sweet potatoes, corn, green beans, and cranberry sauce at Cowboy Burgers and Barbecue in Rancho Cucamonga. For more information, visit www.eatbewell.org and help put the giving into Thanksgiving with the 4th annual Eat and Be Well celebration. Again, go to www.eatbewell.org and be a part of the giving this holiday season. That's a look at the community calendar on KCAA 1050 AM and 106.5 FM.
The KCAA Community Calendar is presented exclusively by Learn for Life, a growing network of public charter schools where students can complete their education on a part-time basis. To find a resource center nearest you, call 1-877-360-LEARN or visit Learn for Life online at learn4life.org.
For those of you traveling by air to celebrate this holiday season, LA Ontario International Airport wants you and your family to have a fun and safe trip. For your convenience,
remember, TSA travel rules are for your safety and those of others. LA Ontario International Airport reminds you to arrive early and check with your airlines for flight delays or cancellations.
ONT offers 62 daily flights to 15 nonstop western cities. This year, Santa brings your airport the Paws Pet Assisting with Smiles stress relief program. So, Make sure to stop and pause a while, then sit back, relax, and enjoy your flight. For more airport information, please visit us at lawa.org.
Redlands Blueprint and Commercial Printing Company has been serving the greater Inland Empire for over 60 years. For all of your printing needs, from full-color printing to high-speed copying and everything in between, go to Redlands Blueprint and Commercial Printing Company. Their staff is committed to your total satisfaction. Great service isn't just lip service at Redlands Blueprint and Commercial Printing Company. It's the way they do business year after year. Having trouble finding drafting supplies? Redlands Blueprint and Commercial Printing Company still carries a complete selection. Redlands Blueprint and Commercial Printing Company is rated high in customer satisfaction by Value Star, an independent rating company. For all of your personal or business printing, call Redlands Blueprint and Commercial Printing Company at 909-792-3478. That's 792-3478, or visit them on New York Street in Redlands off the I-10 and the Crosstown Freeway.
Is your radio station dull and boring like most corporate-owned stations on the dial? Then it's time to tune to Kcaa 1050 AM. It will blow your mind and maybe expand it too. Kcaa is your independently owned go-to station in the Inland Empire. It's a veritable cornucopia of crazy, an assemblage of awesome and cool, and it's a little weird too. KCAA pumps out more local and national radio each week than most major networks while offering CNBC business news headlines during the week and NBC sports news on weekends. KCAA is unique, interesting, quirky, and sometimes outlandishly crazy, which adds up to a high volume of awesome. And for you audiophiles, KCAA delivers FM sound quality to our transmitter, which is why KCAA is the best-sounding AM station on the dial. So make your day with KCAA and find us online at kcaaradio.com. KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind.
The founder of a world-renowned symphony made up of children.
The Inland Empire's most heroic teacher.
The world-famous mixed martial arts hero, Baptiste Mansour.
The lady who's saving homeless kids in Redlands.
The Inland Empire has thousands of community, business, and kid heroes. Each week, we share their stories with you. Join us for My Awesome Empire and find out why the Inland Empire is so great.
Saturday afternoons at 5 p.m. on AM 1050 and KCAAradio.com.
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate, to live, love, laugh, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Fay on UBNradio.com.
And welcome. You are tuned into my weekly talk radio show called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa every Tuesday at naturally high noon on Universal Broadcasting Network out of the Sunset Gower Studios in Hollywood, California, and every Thursday on my syndicated CNBC News Radio channel, KCAA AM 1050. And this is a show about hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal, even though scandal is actually taped here, and no K-words, no Kardashian talk at all. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So this is the first week of November, and as per usual, I have some very interesting guests that come on, and if you've missed any of them, Fran Drescher, Gloria Allred, Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith, Don Miguel Ruiz, Dr. Pat Allen, Dr. John Gray, please do visit my YouTube channel as well as Stitcher or iTunes or TuneIn or UBN or KCAA. You'll find me everywhere so that you can learn from all those people that I find on the planet that are inspiring with their life work. And today's no exception. I actually had planned to have one of my past guests who has become a wonderful friend, Dawn Wells, Marianne from Gilligan's Island, and do a retired professor with Marianne. I'm the retired professor, but she got called to do this fabulous 100 Years of Universal Studios, so I didn't blame her. But I got a wonderful replacement to bring to you on the air, thanks to Leonard Carter, her manager, and that is the actress Kathy Garver. And since my largest listening base is 40 through 60, I'm sure you will remember the wonderful comedy show called A Family Affair, where she is known for her role as that spunky teenager, Sissy, on that classic CBS television series Family Affair, which was one of the highest rated network programs in America from 1966 to 1971. However, she's also appeared in many other TV shows, including Adam 12, Matlock, The Big Valley, The Rifleman, The Patty Duke Show, and classic films like The Ten Commandments and The Night of the Hunter. She's also a producer and prolific voiceover talent. Kathy tells the story of her life on camera as well as behind the scenes in her new memoir, Surviving Sissy, My Family Affair in Life of Hollywood. Please welcome to the studio, Sissy, or Kathy Garver. Welcome.
Thank you. I love that audience with all that applause. That's pretty good, Marissa.
Thank you. They love you.
You really know how to welcome a guest. That's quite nice.
That's great. And as per usual, I have a friend. She does not have an answering machine. She has a questioning machine. And when you call her, it says, "Who are you and what do you want?" So those are your first two questions. Who are you and what do you want?
Well, I am proud to announce that I am now an award-winning author. I just heard this morning that I won the People's Choice Award for my Surviving Sissy book from the Scripps Foundation, Books on the Banks.
Wow.
So, and you are the first radio personality to hear my big announcement. So that's who I am. I'm an award-winning author now,
Yay.
Marissa.
That's awesome. That you heard it here first. This is Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa. Cutting edge news.
Yes,
that's wonderful.
Correct.
And you also won Best Actress Award in TV, right? I read that.
I have won some other awards, and this book now, my lovely literary agent Toby, is #1 on Amazon for the ebooks in Hollywood history. So it's just been a very good day, I must say.
And I'm glad that you can share that.
I won a Life Achievement Award, and as old as I am, which is even past the age of your listening audience of 60, but I have a 24-year-old son whom I had in my 40s, but he said, I told my son, Reed, I won this Life Achievement Award, and he says, yeah, but you're not dead yet, Mom. Thank you, son. Thank you. I still got a lot of living to do.
Yes. Well, as the pictures show, we wanted to have you in the studio, but you're doing a book signing right now in Tennessee. So I did find some wonderful pictures of you on the internet, and you definitely are ageless. You look like you use oil of Olay.
Well, as a matter of fact, I did this morning. That's my moisturizer, and not that I'm doing a commercial for them, but
yes.
it just so happened that that is the truth.
Well, I'm going to go after them after the fact and get them to sponsor this show. How's that?
That sounds good.
So let's go back. So
what do I want?
Yes. What do you want? Well, no, let's go back. Oh, no. Actually, answer that question. What do you want? Let's see
I would
if
like
I can.
people to buy my book.
Okay.
And that would be nice. What do I want out of life? I agree with your philosophy. I think that people should be happy and have hope. It certainly has sustained me throughout my very long career in Hollywood since I started at the age of 7. Quite near Sunset Gower Studios, as I was on Paramount Studios when I did the movie The Ten Commandments. Not the silent version. Not that old. The Ten Commandments.
Wonderful. Yes, you actually worked and remained friends with Charlton Heston?
I did. Actually, I was just originally hired as a slave and an extra in the grandiose epic of Cecil B. DeMille's Ten Commandments. And I was just hired to go in this little wagon during the exodus scene, and all of a sudden I heard this big voice cry out, "Don't let that little girl's face get in the camera." And I said, "Oh, dear, what did I do? Was that God?" That was coming from far above me. But it wasn't God. It was cinematic deity Cecil B. DeMille, who was filming from a great big crane with his camera. So I did the scene. He came down and descended from the crane, walked over to me and chatted, and then he told the associate director to have scenes written into the movie for me, and he wrote some. And so I was on the movie for 6 weeks. It was a wonderfully auspicious and blessed beginning.
Yes, you were discovered.
I was.
Yeah, that's great. And then after that?
After that, I proceeded to work in films, and I did another one, The Night of the Hunter, which was Charles Laughton's first and last directorial move into the entertainment world from being such a wonderful actor, because he got such bad reviews for this incredibly wonderful movie with Robert Mitchum and Shelley Winters and Lillian Gish, Peter Graves. It was a fabulous cast. But it was so far ahead of its time, and it was really not recognized until later as a total film horror classic. And talk about awards, it's just won hundreds of awards as being a great movie. And actually, I was at BYU making a speech, and it is one of the movies that the theater students coming in have to analyze.
Interesting. So did you always want to be an actor? Did you know at age 7, this is what I want to do? Family of actors?
No, I started singing and dancing when I was 3. And so when you start so early, it just becomes such a natural part of one. So I said, well, yes, this is what I do.
Great. And your parents supported it?
Very much so. I have another book coming out, actually my third book, in March, which will be Ex-Child Stars, Where Are They Now? And I go through the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s with the child stars from TV series and why some of them were able to succeed, and unfortunately some took a bad path. And
why is that? Why is that? I mean, you're a great person to ask because you are an actress. You started young. You didn't go that route. But is it true that most child actors go that route, or is it just the ones that end up on the news, so it seems like that is the normal path?
It is very difficult, I believe, for an ex-child star to kind of make the transition over to a successful adult in whatever field they choose, even outside of the entertainment realm. And when you said, oh, well, did your family support you? That's one of the tenets that I think is very important for a child star. Your parents have to support you. They also have to financially support you and not treat you as their own personal bank that they can withdraw from whenever they want to pay a bill or buy themselves a dress or pay for somebody else. There were many child stars who were left penniless or did not have, an iota of the earnings that they had made from all their hard work. So not only were they penniless, but they had a little resentment because of this.
Sure.
And many times they forego education. And I was very, my parents said, well, my whole family went to college. Of course, I was going to go to college. I graduated from UCLA.
I taught at UCLA for 6 years, so we're good. We're not going to talk about SC.
Oh, good. I'm glad not SC.
Yeah, exactly. Shh, we don't say that word either, right?
No, we don't say that. No, that's almost like a K word.
Exactly. K-U-S-E. Anyway, okay.
Yeah, K Kardashian. We don't say Kardashian here.
Good.
That's the K word.
Yes. So you went to UCLA.
I got a degree in speech. I majored in speech with a minor in psychology. I guess that's why I talk so much. And then I went back to get a master's degree in theater art. So I really had strength from learning. And my dear mother, she said, gee, Mom, I don't know what to major in. I've worked in theater and stage and film all my life. I think theater art. She says, no. Take something where it gives you a little insurance. She wanted, something more, like being a teacher or being a nurse. She was a nurse, so that's why I majored in speech. And I do teach speech now in my voiceover teachings and workshops.
And if you recognize this voice or not recognize this voice and you've just tuned in, I am speaking with Kathy Garver, best known as Sissy in the Family Affair TV series, very successful back in the late 60s and 70s. And she is now in Tennessee talking to us from she's about to do a book signing at the Barnes & Noble over there for her book that just won, and we just found this out literally right now, the People's Choice Award. So you're going to have to go out and get that book. I did not have a chance to talk to your publicist quickly, but I'm hoping that you can give, because they call me the Asian Oprah. I don't know if you know that. They started calling me that when I was speaking on stage 3 years ago, and it took me a year to step into those shoes. But all it means is that I have to give stuff away on the show. No cars yet, but I do ask.
Okay.
Yeah, but I do ask for free books.
You may have a Surviving Sissy, My Family Affair of Life in Hollywood book. And since we were talking about awards, I'll tell you a quick story about Amy Tan, who is also Asian, but she had written the book, Saving Fish from Drowning, as if they needed saving. But this was a very popular book, and I directed her reading her audio book of it. And she had done such a good job. And, an Audie Award is like the Oscar of the spoken word. So I had actually won 2 or 3 of them, but we were nominated, and Amy was nominated. So I called her up and I said, Amy, isn't this great? We won the Audie. And she said, yeah, but when they first called, I thought I'd won a car. No cars, but nice little crystal plaques. That's okay.
I know. It's always,
maybe we can sell them on
always
eBay.
a disappointment. You just can't, never enough. Actually, that brings me back. What is one of my theories about child actors turning out like Lindsay Lohan or anyone else who has some problem with substance abuse or just seems to take a dive off the cliff? What would you say the chances are that or one of the reasons I think that might contribute to that phenomena is the what have you done for me lately? So the pressure that comes from, doing a hit or being notable in Hollywood is very high. Even if you've had something, a big hit or a great movie, then it's like, well, what have you done lately? Or, what's that next thing? And if you can't sustain that, then you can sort of derail. Is that a possible, not motive, but explanation of why some of these seemingly, you have everything. Why aren't you happy?
Yes, exactly. And it is even more pronounced with child stars that are teens, are going through that very difficult age of trying to find themselves as a young teenager and then going on to be a successful adult. And the problem is when one starts acting so young, everything is done for them. So they have the hairstylist and the wardrobe person. They have an agent that gets them the roles. They have a parent that gets them there on time. They have somebody else, perhaps a manager, that is mapping out their career. Well, whoops. I'm not on the show anymore. Well, where's my limelight? Where's my hairstylist? Where's my wardrobe people? They have not developed the skills. So not only perhaps might they not get the next big starring role because they're typecast or because they're going through an awkward age from 15 to 18, which is very difficult, but they don't know how. So I work with Paul Peterson, who established a minor consideration, a nonprofit for child stars, and he's now turning over the reins to Scott Schwartz because he established the Coogan's Law. Now, you remember Mr. Coogan. He was like the highest paid silent star. As a child. He was making $1 million, and he lost it all. So there is a law that has been established that now for any child who works even one day in the industry, a portion of what they make has to be put into a separate business account that nobody can touch until the child turns 18, and then they get their money.
Great. That's a great example of how law can be used for good.
Right. However, sometimes, like my son did a lot of things, and so I saved dutifully all of his money. I gave him all his money from the Coogan account. And then a week later, I said, "Oh, so how are you doing with the money?" He said, "It's all gone." He said everything in a week, because even if they get it, they don't have any skills about then. How do you save it? What do you invest in, etc.
Did you ground him?
No, but I certainly sat him down and gave him some financial lessons, and he now works for a bank.
Oh, there you go. That's great. So tell me, you have a great love story. So I'm all about love stories. So tell me what happened and how you met your husband.
Well, I had been dating a lot, and it was a disco era, and set up photo play dates, and I was getting older and getting older. I said, "Well, this is ridiculous. I just want somebody that I can love, that I get along with." So I was about 32.
Wait, define older. Okay, you just did. Okay, 32. I'm like,
what? And I said, "Well, where is somebody that I can love and be married?" So I was in Palm Springs, and I put it in my head, and I said, "The next person I meet, I am going to marry." Well, so don't you know, onto the tennis court, I was playing with my friend Arlene Golanka and a friend of hers, and we were going to play doubles, and so this 6'3" guy galumps onto the court, and I said, "Oh, is that him? I guess that's him." So we started playing tennis, and at that time I was pretty good, and I just smashed an ace serve, and then he looked at me and said, "Oh, finally a woman that can play tennis. I'm going to get married." And I just turned aside and went, "Ha, ha, ha."
You have no idea.
3 years later, we were married, and we've been married for 34 years.
Wow. Now we should have him on next time and see what his side of the story is. But no, that sounds...
He hates that story.
Does he hate? I had a feeling.
Kathy.
It wasn't that simple. Well, that's wonderful. So what you were doing photo play? What were you saying? Photo play?
Yeah, back then they had like magazines like People or USA that they have now, but they had like photo play, and they would take pictures, big pictures of people with faux dates. They weren't really dating, but they needed a little romance in their magazines.
Okay.
So I would go a lot on these fix-up dates.
Oh,
photo shoot.
See. So with you and another guy.
Right.
Oh, okay. But they were fake.
Yes.
Faux photo. Got it. So now you have a real guy. Yeah. And what would you say? What would you say? The number one reason why you still talk about him like you really, really love him, which I can hear in your voice. What's the key to success for a marriage?
You really have to like the person, I think. You do. I mean, there's infatuation, and there might be other causations where I say, "Oh, this person has money," or "This person has, nice blue eyes," or "This person, I like the way he walks." You really, I think, have to like the person and trust the person.
Mm-hmm.
I get mad at him. He gets mad at me. But I know I can trust him. And it isn't a love of the infatuation love. It's a love like, you are really a nice person.
Mm-hmm.
If there was somebody that was struggling by the side of the road, he would stop and help that person.
Mm-hmm.
He's that type of a person.
That's great. So what would you say are the top 3 events in your life that shaped who you are?
One was doing the 10 Commandments.
Mm-hmm.
Another was when our house burned down.
Oh.
And the third one was when my husband died twice.
Okay, just minor things. So, let's go to the house.
These are just minor things that were shaping me and molding me, Marissa. Yes. Those were, I think, about the 3 top ones.
Okay, so let's go. Your house burned down from foul play.
I had a new dryer, and the fellow came to plug it in,
Uh-huh.
and he said, this cord doesn't reach. And he said, do you have an extension cord? So I went into the house. I said, this is the only cord that I could find.
Mm-hmm.
I said, but it doesn't have 3 prongs. Oh, that's okay. We'll just bend this third one down. Plugged it in, did my first drying job.
Uh-huh.
The dryer caught on fire. The garage caught on fire. The roof caught on fire. And thank goodness I was there to call 911, running up my driveway and saying, my house is on fire. Come quickly, please.
Okay. And what did that teach you?
To not buy a dryer from that company ever again.
I deserve that answer. Okay, let's move on to your husband. So he almost died twice. How does that happen?
He did die twice.
Oh, he did
die
die.
twice.
Okay, he died
And
twice.
At the same time, he had cramps in his hand, and and this happened about 2 years ago, being a dutiful wife, I went online to find potassium, which is good for cramps.
Mm-hmm.
I found online this wonderful bottle of potassium crystals.
Mm-hmm.
I had to send away for it. Strangely enough, I got this package that was from Vietnam. I said, I didn't order anything from Vietnam.
Right.
But I opened it, and here were potassium crystals that were manufactured and sent from this country.
Mm-hmm.
So I was away on a trip. I came back, and my son picked me up at the airport. I said, where's Dad? Went back home. Oh, I'm telling you, he was white. He was shivering. Called 911, much to his chagrin. Oh, I'm fine.
Right.
So I did it anyway. And they came very quickly. The fellow came over. He says, well, I think your husband's having a heart attack. I said, oh. They whisked him away really fast.
Mm-hmm.
My son and his girlfriend and I jumped in the car to follow them. Well, half hour later, we're in the emergency room. We haven't heard anything. We hear code blue.
Oh.
So anyway, it's all in my book. But he died. Yeah. They resuscitated him. He died again, resuscitated him. I'm praying. I said, come on, God. Come on, prayer chain.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not let this wonderful person go yet. I need him. I like him. He's a nice person. So his potassium level was over 9. The doctors say nobody survives over that. And the second time they came back out, I said, you save him. You save him. They went back. They saved him. Then they did dialysis, and he's okay. But, those types of things make you value every single minute.
Absolutely. So it was the crystals that put him over?
Yes.
Okay. And did he have an other experience? Does he recount? Was he aware of being out of the body?
I certainly asked him. I said, did you see the light? Did you see the crystal palette?
Uh-huh.
He said, I saw nothing.
Okay,
I
saw
said,
nothing.
gee, maybe he was going the other way. Perhaps I shouldn't have asked him. It was dark. I said, okay, all right, no more questions. I'm glad you're here.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, I know him better than you do, Marissa.
Exactly. Oh, man. Oh, well, I'm glad that he's still here, totally. But what did that teach you besides the crystal part?
About really valuing those, and it isn't carpe diem, it's carpe minute. Every minute that's around is another opportunity and a chance to bring joy, to accept joy, to be grateful. And that really molded my life. I'm a much better person, I think, because of that really big experience. And I know all your listeners and everybody has obstacles and things that they have to go over, such, really traumatic things that might happen. And that's a part of my book, In Surviving Sissy. I survived Sissy. You survive some things like this, and you learn to thrive maybe even through the turmoil or afterwards saying, okay, I understand so much more about life, and I value it so much more.
Right. But what about people who cannot see past their tragedies? What do you say to them?
It's very difficult for me to see people like that, maybe because I have not been that depressed. I mean, I've been really depressed, and just calling on, I think you cannot just rely on everything that that it's just you. Even though I was almost an anthropology major, and I really believe that we are Homo sapiens and we do so many things by instinct.
Right.
But I do believe if you say, okay, God, you are leading me, or Allah, or whomever is your higher spirit, that is guiding you someplace, and that you may think you may never get out of it anything. I was had an IRS audit. My husband died. I'm trying to refinance a house. That the water is not here. All of those things. How am I going to get through this? I said, because it's a cycle, and not everything is just horrible, and God doesn't give you more than you can handle. And to me, it just makes you stronger.
Right.
And I don't take drugs. I think that if you couple it with drugs, then yes, you're a goner.
Prescription or non-prescription?
I take vitamins.
Okay.
I mean, and that is one of the things that got me through being a child star too. So many of my brethren and my peers, even the little girl on my show, Anissa Jones, she died at 18.
Oh, really?
Of drug intoxication. Yes.
Wow.
And the little boy was drugs and alcohol, and his parents took money from him, so he didn't have any money, and he was just really down the same path as Anissa. And then finally, his family did an intervention. It was a nice, big Mormon family, and they said, look, you get off drugs and alcohol, or we are divorcing you as a family. That finally got to him.
Okay.
And he would be proud to tell you now that he's been clean and sober for like 12 years.
Oh, that's fabulous. So it is, I have to go to break, but when we get back, remind me to ask you if you know any statistics around, child stars and drugs and alcohol and all that. All right. But we have to take a break from my fabulous guest, Kcaa Garver, who is visiting from Tennessee, where she's doing a book signing for Surviving Sissy. And we'll be back after we thank our sponsors in 2 and 2. Peace in and peace out.
Have a sports injury? Is your posture pulling you down? Does your body feel like it needs a tune-up? Have you been in an accident and you're not getting real relief from the pain? Then it's time for a free consultation with the experienced, comfortable expertise at Seal Beach Physical Therapy. With offices conveniently located in Newport Beach, Thousand Oaks, Moore Park, and Seal Beach, don't delay. Make your body pain disappear with excellent hands and state-of-the-art equipment at Seal Beach Physical Therapy. That's SealBeachPT.com. SealBeachPT.com.
Interested in helping out firefighters who are going above and beyond below the border? EMS for Baja is a nonprofit organization whose mission is to enhance the quality of life in Baja, Mexico Peninsula by building a regional training center for the fire department operations, EMS, and emergency management. To become a supporting partner, please visit EMS for Baja on Facebook. That's EMS, the number 4, Baja. And we're back. You are listening to my weekly talk radio show out of the Sunset Gower Studios and CNBC News Radio on Thursdays called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa. And we have today a child star who made it into adult star, Kcaa Garver, who is calling in from Tennessee. She is, if you recognize her, Sissy from the very successful TV show called A Family Affair. And that was with Brian Keith and I forget the name of it. Sebastian Cabot.
Yeah.
Right. And
Sebastian's a wonderful actor, yes.
Yes. And that story was an interesting story because you had siblings, twin siblings, and your parents had been killed. And so you were being raised by your uncle, who was Brian Keith, and then the butler or the butler nanny, right?
We would call him a nanny today. He was a gentleman's gentleman, a manservant.
Yes. What were the highlights of working on that show for those nostalgia buffs that are listening?
Well, one, it lasted for 5 years. That was pretty much of the major highlight.
Yeah.
And we got to know each other very well. It's always good for an actor to have a steady job. so I enjoyed the show very much. It has turned out, when one looks back into the annals of TV history or whatever, it was a show that embraced a lot of firsts. As you initiated the conversation, it was unusual to have an uncle raise children. So this was really kind of one of the first dysfunctional families. It wasn't the mom and the dad and the kids.
Right.
So it was kind of delving into a different type of family that could be assembled and still loved. And it was one of the first shows in color. We had a big kaleidoscope that was turning and showing sparkling rays of blues and greens and reds. That was to remind everybody, yet this is indeed in color. And so then they got it. So, and also it was one of the first shows where an actor actually got a part of the financial fruits of our labor. At that time, Don Feddersen, and he had initiated it with Fred McMurray and My Three Sons. And in the 60s, you know, big movie stars did not go on television.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that awful, horrid little box.
Right.
So in order to
snobby.
lure them, Feddersen promised them they would only have to work for 30 days for a 32-episode series, plus they would get a portion of the profit from the show.
Interesting. That is a big first, because Marianne, who I know you know Dawn well, she speaks very highly of you and told me that she might would be able to get you to replace her for her doing the 100-year anniversary on Universal. But she had said that all the money from Gilligan's Island, that, you know, from all the replays, she gets nothing.
Oh, yes. I mean, we only got paid up until the 10th rerun, and that was kind of de rigueur for the 60s and for residuals. And then, unfortunately, Melissa Gilbert, who was the president of SAG at the time, made this deal with the producers that on the web, they didn't have to pay anybody that was in a TV series before 1973.
Oh.
So this was not such a good deal for her fellow actors, but there you go. Yes, Dawn is a great friend of mine. She wrote the foreword in my first book, which was the Family Affair Cookbook, and then she wrote a wonderful blurb for my new book, Surviving Sissy, and we are working to put together a play that we can both work on
awesome.
and appear in.
I will definitely be there. Now, Patty Duke wrote your foreword for this book, and you have a relationship with her. How's Patty?
Patty is great. She's in Idaho, and she's about to do a one-woman show about Mary Todd Lincoln. And I think she would be perfect. You know, it's all these little ladies. I'm like the same size as Patty, the same size as Sally Field. We're all about the same age. So she's going to participate in this new play, and she's doing great. I first met her on the Patty Duke show, where I was in like 4 or 5 of the episodes playing her friend, and we've just been friends ever since.
Well, please do invite her on my show for me. I would love to have her.
I would be happy to. I know she'd love to.
That's great.
And she has a lot of good things to say about hope and happiness and her own trials and tribulations, and how she was finally able to make that transition to a happy adult from some kind of child also abuse, as she was starring in so many of her roles.
Now, she had some abuse in her childhood as well. Is that what you just said? Yeah. So here's the interesting thing. Let's stop for a second on that. One of my moose on the table, I call them moose on the table because I'm originally from Canada. It's, you know, the elephant in the room. Yeah, so my version is, let's put the moose on the table.
In the room, it's a moose on the table. Very
exactly.
Clever, Marissa.
Thank you.
I get it. Yeah.
So many people, if they believe, if their BS, if their belief system is that somehow I'm entitled when I come into the planet for a normal childhood, Ozzie and Harriet, you know, Little House on the Prairie, the normal functional home, and if I don't get that somehow I have a right to be bitter, angry, pissed off, always playing catch up, unhappy, depressed. And my premise is that especially with the statistics, if you look at Psychology Today, it says 7 out of 10 are born in dysfunctional homes of some kind. Oprah says it's as high as 8 out of 10. Asian Oprah agrees with her. And that statistic, then, if that's the truth, then we will have many, 70% of people walking around this planet unhappy, no hope, hopelessness, and walking around trying to find some semblance of happy outside of themselves, either through drugs or some kind of addiction. So one of the reasons why I'm on the air, and I'm grateful for all of the people who are listening, that the audience has grown and grown. I believe it's because the choice is you either see life as something that happened that you expand from. So any pain or any abuse that you've had, if you can switch your mind around from entitlement and I feel sorry for myself for what the crap happened to me, to wow, this happened to me and what developed in me as a result of this to make me have a better life or an expanded life, then life becomes better. Just from that switch in the frame, which I can tell you have, which Dawn has, which is why you look as great as you do, and which is why you sound as good as you do. No?
Because I agree with you 180%. Okay. And they are still child stars that say, this happened to me, this happened to me. I said, stop being a victim.
Yes.
You are not a victim. You make choices. And if you want to have a choice that, this is all piling on me and poor me, you're never going to get anywhere and you are not going to be happy. Mm-hmm. It's even like Ben Carson. I'm not so political, but you look at the place where he came from. He says, I'm not going, his mother, with all those kids, and she says, you're going to learn to read and you are going to go on. This is a single mother. He said, you are not going to be pushed down by anything that people have told you or that you can't do. You can do anything.
Right.
You can do anything. And it is, as you say, that little click. Mm-hmm. And maybe it takes one little tiny accomplishment. You say, wow, hey, that was pretty good. I did that. Mm-hmm. I mean, I am thrilled to be an award-winning author. Well, wow, did I ever think that I would be an award-winning author? Well, no, that was not I had ever planned out to be. Right. But if you start on a road and you get little accomplishments that go, you bake a perfect cake, you knit a sweater, oh my gosh, you painted that picture, you drew that, all of those little wonderful accomplishments pile up, and you start feeling really kind of good about yourself.
Right. Absolutely. I have begun this practice in the last couple of years. Every child that I see, if they are at all open to my smiling or my goofy faces at them, I get down to their level, I look in their eyes and say, you can accomplish anything you put your heart and mind to, because that was told to be by my math teacher, J.J. Bristow, when I was in 10th grade, and it made a tremendous difference in my life. And I can see the difference that makes. And that's the work that you're doing, which is why I am presenting you with today's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award. So you got 2 awards today, Kathy Garver.
Wow, I'm doubly blessed.
It's Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Give you a little,
there
you go. You get more applause.
And applause, too.
Because we need
I must say,
them.
when I first started my book, I was just going to write this is my life, memoir, and then as it started evolving, and then there became Hollywood history in it, and then at the end, and I was threading it through, there's this little thread theories, how we're all connected, or that experience happened because of a particular thread, and then at the end, it became very inspirational, and I didn't intend it to be that way, but people that have read it have been inspired by it, people that have come up to my book signing. I mean, this lady yesterday, when I was doing another book signing, she came up to me and started crying.
Aww.
And I said, I'm sorry, what's the matter? She said, I was just abused as a child, and I used to watch Family Affair, and it was so comforting to me, and it made me feel so good. And she said, I apologize. I said, no, that's fine. I said, I'm glad that there was something that gave you comfort,
Yes.
to which that you would, that you could go and feel good. So, it makes me happy, and I'm glad that I'm a beneficial person on this planet, because I didn't think that was going to be where my path was necessarily taking me, but I'm glad it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And the reality is all 7.3 billion of us have the capacity to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Actually, we all are. We just don't recognize it. And if part of this work is to recognize it of yourself and then to recognize it in others. Two things that keep us, the people outside may not encourage us, and then the person inside in our head, that critic, also keeps us from recognizing it. So you've done something that I tell my clients all the time. You bake your own cake, baby. You have baked your own cake. The compliments and the criticism are just icing. But you know that you're a beneficial presence because I can see it in your work.
Well, thank you. And even if that cake doesn't rise and it deflates a little, that still tastes good.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Final word, is there any love and peace shout outs that you would like to give to anybody out in the listening land?
To my son, to my husband, I miss you very much. I love you so very, very much. I'll be home soon from being out on the road for all my other friends and the people that I know and will know.
Yes, that you inspire. Thank you so much, Kcaa Garver. Surviving Sissy, go out and get it. The Asian Oprah giveaway for the first person that goes to my website at forbalance.org and says, let's see, a family affair on the subject line will get a copy of that book. So that is it for today's
Okay, I
fabulous
just want to remind people that they can get the book on my website. They can get an autographed copy.
Yes.
On www.KcaaGarver.com. That's Kathy with a K. And, of course, they can go to Amazon. My other award that I think I told you was #1 on Amazon for Hollywood history, so they can also go to Amazon.
Fabulous.
Got to get in that shameless.
Yes, no. I apologize. I usually ask that right after the break, but I think we were involved in some kind of scandal or something, and I forgot.
We were trying to find the statistic for ex-child stars and their drug use.
Yes. Did you have that?
I don't have it yet, but it will be in my new book in March.
There you go.
And that's because of you. I'm going to look it up and add a little gravitas to my work.
There we go. Just make sure you say Dr. Marissa told you to do that.
I will.
I'm just kidding. There's my shameless. But one more time, if we're looking for Kcaa Garver, we find her at KcaaGarver.com.
www.KcaaGarver.com.
With a K. And then I'm sure, are you Facebook as well?
KathyGarver.
Great. And go give her a thumbs up at her Facebook page. And thank you again.
Thanks, Marissa.
All right. Well, that was super fun. And we are at the end of the show where I invite you to my balance bar. Step up. Today is day 3 on the 21-day fast from complaining with Dr. Marissa. We are on round 53. Yes, I've been doing this fast since July 1st, 2001, and continue to do it from all around the world, and right now from Australia. So the tip for day 3 is it's easier to stop a bad habit like complaining if I have a new habit to replace it with, like gratitude. So starting today, set your day up for not complaining by affirming what is good in your life. Dr. Wayne Dyer, who we just lost to the other side, he's still here, but on the other side, he suggests 5 things that you're grateful for. I'm a recovering overachiever, so I say 8. And y'all know, if you've been following me for a while, 8 is a lucky number in Chinese. It's a homonym for good fortune. So I want you to start every single day with 8 gratitudes, as specific as possible, about your life. And I promise you, if you start the day like that, you will set a path for positivity and you will put on your life jacket with a silver and gold lining. So that is today's balance tip on the 21-day fast from complaining. You too can join officially at 4balance.org. And you'd want to do that if you can go 21 days without complaining in a row. Contact me after you have registered, and you will receive a free 52-card pick-me-up Stacking the Deck for Life Balance with Dr. Marissa's motivational card back, which is all original Marissa-isms on there, and I get a lot of my balance tips from that pack. So please do join the fast, especially if you don't like hearing yourself or others around you complain. And that's it for today's show. Tune in next week. We have another call-in show. I will be back from Australia and from the land down under, and joining you again, where I get to be Dr. Marissa, the kinder, gentler Dr. Laura, with call-ins about relationships, your health and well-being, and a job that you might hate. So that's it for Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa Pay. That's P for positive, EI. And remember, it's all about balance. Peace in and peace out.
Take away the part of me that wants to stay. It's all I want, to hear my life and sing along. For without it, there's no laughter, no tears, lonely days after, no memories for the way things used to be. Many a friend has stopped along the way. Strangers even hear me sing and stop to say, I can see the life you're living through the windows of your singing. Please play another melody for me. Just let me sing, let me laugh, let me cry. Don't take my songs away, they have so much to say. 'Cause music is my life, it's how I show the world what.
This is Dick from Carpet Masters. Carpet Masters has been serving the Inland Empire for over 55 years. Carpet Masters uses extraction cleaning for your carpet because there's no better cleaning to remove the soil from your carpet. All of our furniture cleaning is done by hand in your home or in our plant. Carpet Masters also offers dry cleaning for fine furniture. Call Carpet Masters at 793-7215. That's 793-7215 for Carpet Masters.
What?